It seems like, Mason, it's a long time coming, but Sony might actually have their shared Spider-Man universe on solid footing. Not critically, but commercially, Venom has done better than a movie that's about the same quality as it.
Should have any right to do. You're absolutely correct.
There's some fun moments in it for sure, but as we've known, Mason, since the inception of the Amazing Spider-Man films, all Sony want to do is spin off all these minor or major Spider-Man characters into their own films. That's all they've ever wanted. There was rumors of not rumors, it was going to happen, a Sinister Six film after the Amazing Spider-Man 2. There was an Aunt May prequel where she was a spy or something.
Oh, really?
Which they denied, but then there was that Sony email leak and it was floated. It was a real thing they considered.
Maybe secret agent Aunt May released those emails.
She could have very well, Mason.
Yep.
So look, here are all the things I've got in front of me that Sony are currently trying to spin off in their Spider-Man universe.
A stapler. A set of headphones.
He's naming things on my desk, everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
A bottle of water.
So the first one, which looks like the next one's happening, is the Jared Leto led Morbius film.
Morbius, the living vampire.
He's not really a vampire.
He's not a real vampire. He's a technology-based vampire.
Of scientists.
He's a scientist vampire.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
What's his deal when he's at home or anywhere? Can he go in the sunlight?
I don't think so.
Can he drink blood? Does he sleep in a coffin?
Do you want me to look it up?
Nah.
Okay.
What do you remember from the top of your head?
He's got a big disco collar.
Yes.
He wears a big disco collar. He's a real doctor.
Yep.
He's a
So
bloody...
this is prior to his accident?
Yes, he didn't become a doc. He didn't go to night school and become a doctor.
Well, he would have had to have gone to night school, basically.
Yeah, right. He gets involved in some sort of biochemical experiment which fails, and then it gives him all the abilities of a vampire. Like he had a blood disorder and he attempts to fix it.
Yeah.
With some sort of experiment. Doesn't work, turns him into a vampire. We've all been there.
So he did the thing that literally every Spider-Man villain
He's a misfit of science, exactly. Yeah. And so like a vampire, he's got the bloodlust.
Mm-hmm.
He can fly. He can hypnotize people. He can recover from mortal wounds, etc. He's also in the comic books the guy that gave Blade the Vampire Hunter his Blade the Vampire Hunter powers by bitten him.
Where'd he bitten him?
In his neck.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I thought because he wasn't a conventional vampire, it might have been like, he bit him right on the ear.
Oh, sure,
That might have been the way he does it.
Yeah, right, okay, absolutely. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
So he's now an anti-hero though, right?
I guess so, yeah. Uh-huh.
And I guess that's what they're going to do for that movie if they end up making it, which it looks like they will.
Great.
Next up we have Black Cat and Silver Sable.
Okay.
Now you might think, that sounds like a great idea for a combination of characters because one's reasonably well known in the comic book world, the other is not as well known.
Yep. Okay.
But
yes,
that movie is no longer one movie, it is two movies. There's going to be a Black Cat film.
Terrific.
And there's then also going to be a Silver Sable movie.
Okay.
Where are these two when they're at home, Mason?
Okay, well, so Black Cat is Marvel's Catwoman.
Yes.
Essentially. She is...
in a lot of video games, actually.
She's in a lot of it. So she's Felicia Hardy. She is a cat burglar. Sometimes she has superpowers. Sometimes she don't. Sometimes she has gadgets.
Sometimes she's the personal assistant of Dane DeHaan in The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
And that plot thread is never resolved. Correct.
Sometimes
that's true. And Silver Sable is from a European nation called Simcaria. She is the head of a mercenary company, or sometimes in the Spider-Man video game, she is a head of a private security company.
I was going to say, that character's got a bit of a boost recently because she plays a fairly significant role in that game. But I guess also there's Black Cat DLC coming out for that game also. So
that's
maybe
true,
these are the perfect characters to go with. Mm-hmm. We scoff, Mason. We scoff, we scorn. But maybe this might be the best film ever made.
I mean, we can't rule
films
it out.
too.
Two films, yeah, absolutely.
The other thing is, I don't know if you knew this. You know how Anne Hathaway played Catwoman in the Batman's back, but his knee's fucked.
Yeah, Batman's back, all right.
Yeah, she was signed on for Black Cat in Raimi's Spider-Man 4.
Right.
John Malkovich was going to be Vulture.
Okay.
I think she was originally going to be the Vulturess, and then she changes into Black Cat.
Okay.
There's a series of situations that
series of comical misunderstandings.
Yeah. But that movie didn't end up happening. The other person who was going to show up in that movie was Mysterio, played by Bruce Campbell. He was going to be a minor villain at the start.
That's right. It was going to be revealed. Or was it going to be revealed that... Because he has a minor role in every Sam Raimi film, at least, or sometimes a starring role in a Sam Raimi film.
Sometimes.
For example, the Evil Dead movies.
Yes.
But he appears in all the Spider-Man movies playing a different character.
Yeah.
was it going to be revealed that it was all the same character, or was
I
it
guess
just...
it was, yeah.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Because the other thing, those characters that he appears as all have significant roles in Spider-Man's life.
That's true.
He's there for when Spider-Man has his first wrestling match.
Yep.
He's there to stop Spider-Man getting into a theater, so
Yep.
his not girlfriend hates him even more than she normally does.
Oh, yes.
And then she's there for his engagement, but
But he needed a snooty waiter for some reason.
yes, he needed a studio waiter for some reason. So yeah, I think that would have been a nice little reveal. There's
Yeah.
actually there's some storyboards that actually show that they mapped that all out. It
Yeah,
looked
right.
like it was going to happen at one point. The next film, Mason, in this cavalcade of spin-offs,
Oh, yes.
is the movie Silk.
Okay, now Silk is...
Another character intrinsically tied into Spider-Man.
Yes.
Even though he's not in this universe.
That's correct. So Spider-Man gets his powers because he was bitten by a radioactive spider.
Correct.
Which then we all assumed for many years just scuttled off and died. Except it turns out it didn't. It then went and bit somebody else.
Yep.
Silk, who now also has quite similar Spider-Man powers.
Here's a question. When did Silk appear in the comics?
I want to say 5 years ago, but I might be out by a decade.
Okay. I know the Marvel timeline is kind of on a rubber band.
Yes, uh-huh.
Where the origin, even though it happened in the 60s, it's kind of like 5 or 10 years
Uh-huh.
later. Or it's
Yeah,
probably,
right.
15 years on, I guess, roughly
yeah.
from the original
So your
Marvel
question is,
universe?
what's she been doing?
That is my question.
Just hanging out, I guess.
Just lying low?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. The other film here is, this is a character I asked you to look into because I have no idea what's going on with this one. Night Watch.
But surprise, surprise, a character I'm well acquainted with because I had every issue of his solo series back in the 90s.
This might be a Spike Lee film, apparently.
That's so bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
We also might be getting, similarly, we might be getting an appearance of Prowler. Who is it? It's might be Don Glover as
But
Prowler.
that's in the MCU.
That is in the
which
MCU.
Is separate from.
So,
yeah.
So Night Watch is basically he's a doctor, and one day he's walking the streets of New York, and he sees this costumed hero being accosted by villains, and the hero is killed. He's wearing like a super suit, and this hero is killed, and the dude's run away, and he goes to take the mask off this hero's face, and it's him, but in the future. And he's like, oh no, this is my destiny to be killed on the street with a super suit, right? So what he does is he takes the suit, and he goes and he lives on like a remote island for years and years and years.
Train or just to
No,
live?
because he's like, well, if I never leave, nothing bad will happen to me.
Good point.
Big mistake. But then I think somebody steals one of the gloves off the suit. Somebody on the island.
Okay.
And then he's like, well, I better, that's maybe a sign. I better go do some superheroing. And then he comes back and he becomes a real second-rate Spawn kind of guy.
Well,
Because
it was the 90s.
that's kind of what the suit was. It was kind of like a super suit that gave him like super strength, and it could turn invisible at some point, but it also had like that animated cloak cape
Sure.
situation to
It's
it.
a bit Greatest American Hero.
A little bit, yeah.
Did he have that hair of the Greatest
No.
American Hero?
Absolutely not. Who does?
Azrael from Batman.
Yep, good point.
Thank you. What about Kraven the Hunter? He's getting his own film, apparently. Another character tied directly to the origin and life of Spider-Man.
Who's he going to hunt? Spider-Man? No.
Venom, I guess.
I guess he could hunt Venom.
Could hunt Venom,
He
yeah.
could hunt Catwoman.
He could hunt
He could
Catwoman.
hunt... Where are we putting in this?
Do you mean Black Cat? Or are we just going in anywhere? We're
He
going
could
in
hunt
any direction.
Catwoman.
He could hunt RoboCop.
There we go. No, you're right. He could hunt the Black Cat.
Yeah. Venom seems like the obvious choice.
He could hunt Night Watch on his island. That's why he has to leave the island, because he's being pursued by Kraven the Hunter.
The greatest game of all. A man in a suit from the future which he stole off a dead version of himself.
The greatest hero of them all, yes.
So those are currently the known films in development over at Sony. Here's the thing, right?
Yes.
This is independent of the Spider-Man universe. As of now, they might fold it into the MCU. It's not looking like it's going to happen anytime soon, but you never know. I feel like the main reason Venom worked is because people know who that character is. He has been in a movie before, but he's also a very, very popular comic book character.
Absolutely.
Who's bled over into the mainstream. But I'm looking at the rest of this list.
He's also very visually interesting.
Yes.
Like that design, which started as a Spider-Man costume. Actually, no, it started as a Spider-Woman costume
Right.
and then became a Spider-Man costume later. It just looks great. The movie version, it doesn't look as interesting, but I feel like people know Venom because they like that black and white costume.
Big old
The
mouth.
big fangs and the tongue, that looks super cool. But a lot of this stuff,
Yeah.
it's a little generic. Again, if you want a Spawn knockoff, if you want a Catwoman knockoff,
How many movies do you think they'll get in before they botch this up?
2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after
Are we including Venom?
I was going to say...
Still 2.
So after the Venom sequel?
2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think of all the ones from this list, I
Yes.
think Kraven the Hunter is the one that I think has the most chance of working, because also you could tie that in directly to Venom. There's your spin-off.
Yeah.
Venom's the ultimate game.
I guess that's
An
true,
alien
yeah.
monster,
Okay.
unstoppable, biting heads off.
I mean, obviously,
jumping in a lobster tank.
Obviously, Spider-Man is the ultimate game, but
Sure.
we can't include him, so I guess it has to be Venom.
So I am doing it for Sony. It is in the Spider-Man universe. He's going to adhere very closely to the lore of Kraven the Hunter, and he is going to come face to face with Spider-Man.
But then you also have to care whether or not Venom lives or dies.
And do you?
Not really.
That's tough on him and his family.
Yeah,
But that's life, isn't it?
it really is.
And this has been a video.
Oh,
And I'll tell you the other thing
which
about
is
it.
part of life.
That's right. The other thing about videos is there's one here every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So if you want to
Ooh.
subscribe and leave a comment, here's an idea. Are any of these going to work? Does anyone want to see any of these? And if so, which one do you want to see in what capacity?
Let us know.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Also, we have a podcast called The Weekly Planet where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. Just recently, we did an episode on Venom. Boy, what a movie. Oh,
I mean,
what
it's
a night.
definitely a movie.
Yeah, they
right?
made it. It
Yeah.
came out.
Yeah, there's no denying it.
Anyways, I'll see you later. That's
Okay,
it.
grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
How do you end these? I never know. You know what I mean?
Well, I say my catchphrase.
I don't have anything like that.
You've got one.
I peter out. That's my thing.
There's your new catchphrase.
I peter out, bitch! It's not petering out though, is it?
No, it's really not. But that's the irony. That's why it's so
Oh,
fun.
good.